Hey folks, today we got a surprise patch for Crusader Kings 3. This is game update 1.14.1. This is bringing us some game content changes, some bug fixes, and one balance change as well. And I'm going to go through all of that quickly now. So as always, hit that like button, but we're just going to get straight into the changes. So the game content changes. This first one, I'm not sure if I actually agree with this one. So reorganize the wandering lifestyle tree slightly. So the activity opening perk is now one row higher up and easier to open up in your early unlocking of these. I've put these on the screen now. I actually just took a screenshot from in-game. You can see the changes versus what they used to be. I'm going to be honest, at this point, why not just give you the activity as soon as you select one of the three trees? It's now the second, or for Voyager, the third point that you put in there. Now gives you the activity. I can see the reasoning behind this. They want to get into that activity earlier, get that bonus that little bit earlier. I can see why people have probably asked for this. But at the same time, like I just said, why not just give it to you straight away then? At this point, you've got to spend, what, 7 points, and you could unlock all 3 of the new activities. They won't be as good if you went down the tree fully, as they do generally buff the activity that it unlocks. But really, it seems too easy now to just unlock all 3. And I know, it doesn't really matter and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not sure. I kind of liked it being halfway down the tree. You had a little bit of work to get to it. If you've played any of these trees, it's really not hard to get to that point. But anyway, they have moved it that little bit further up. You can see the new trees. I quite like the inspector tree. It just looks kind of funny with all the different links there. But overall, it's not a massive change. I'm not really that mad about it. I'm just a little bit surprised they've already moved it that little bit higher. Like I say, at this point, just put it as the first one and let us just have all of them, or move them further down the tree dynamically maybe if you've unlocked one of the trees already. I'm not sure, but anyway, that is the change for that one. They've also, as part of this, moved around the 3 perks: mercenary contracts, been there, done that, and journey planner. Again, you can see that on the screen at the moment. Not a massive change. The second try modifier for all failed inspections will now go all the way up to 30% if you fail it 3 times in a row. I like this change. The inspections are actually really good. If you get them completed and you're going after, say, the more claims option, you can get a bunch of duchy claims from just doing 1 inspection. If they do fail, they don't seem obviously as good. I mean, that's the whole point of it, I suppose, but it is good building in this redundancy. So if you fail it more and more, you've got more chance of success in the future. Next, they've changed the new French decision where you can merge France and Aquitaine. This will now show even if you don't hold both of those titles. I really like this change. I wish they do this where even if you're a little bit further away from being able to even see a decision, I wish they kind of showed them to you earlier, even if they had a little extra tab, which is further away decisions or something, where things that you're not going to naturally bump into, but if you went a little bit outside of what you were planning, you would have these additional decisions available. I think there's quite a lot of them that are quite hidden unless you almost hit the requirements already and then they suddenly pop up. I think it would unlock some additional gameplay ideas and things like that during your campaigns. The next one, another one that I don't super agree with, which is made the dynamic battle points of interest slightly more likely to happen in general, particularly if a player is involved. We'll have to see how much this has changed it, because as I said when this first came out as a system, I didn't want these being spawned all over the map and your map's just full of all these battles. I actually think how it works now is kind of good. You don't really get these that often. In the campaign I just finished on the live streams, I think we saw 8 of these in total during a couple of 100 years of gameplay. I think that's probably the right amount. We'll see obviously how much this has actually changed it, but I don't want these to be spawning all the time. There's only a certain amount, 20 historical ones in there. I don't want there to be 50 player ones and then the 20 historical ones. Again, it's not a massive issue, but I quite like this being a little bit more kind of constrained on how often you get them, but we'll see actually what the difference is in the actual campaigns once we play them. And then that is all the game content changes. Next, we've got a bunch of bug fixes. I've just picked out the ones that seemed most interesting. As always, I will leave a link to this in the description down below if you want to read them all, or I'll show them all on the screen as we go through them anyway. The first one is fixed Adventurer Casus Belli, granting you incorrect or no land on victory to always give you the targeted title, capital county, and the countries held directly by the defender in the targeted title de jure hierarchy. That was a whole mouthful, and this is a good change. I've had this a few times, I'm sure many of you have, where you do one of these Casus Belli invasions and then nothing really happens, or you win the war and you just don't really get anything out of it, or you get 1 county or something. The next one is adjusted the amount of lifestyle experience points gained by dynamic battle points of interest, so they are in line with the historical ones. That is a good change, kind of linked with the one above, I guess, to stop you being able to farm them, I guess, every time or something like that during your campaigns, if there are going to be more of them. The next one, a massive change, definitely going to impact all your campaigns going forwards. Make sure that babies wouldn't talk about what a good day it is to go fishing. We've all been there, we've all had the baby telling us to go fishing, And yes, he's correct, but maybe he shouldn't be talking about it quite so early. The next one is a good change. I've seen a lot of people affected by this as well. Removed a betrothal in certain cases where a grand wedding wouldn't go through, so that you wouldn't be stuck being unable to marry the character you are betrothed to. So a good change here. Like I say, I don't think I've encountered this myself, but I know a lot of people have, so that is a good change they've managed to get in before the holiday break. And then the next one I've just picked out is made sure that prestige and stress effects are applied when exposing secrets. I didn't realize this was broken, but this is one thing to keep in mind now. If you are exposing secrets, there are going to be more times where it's going to actually apply the effects that it should. I know that seems obvious, but if you're kind of used to how it's been working broken, you will have to adjust to how this works now. And with that, that is the end of the bug fixes. Like I say, a bunch more that are on the screen now, but nothing too crazy, to be honest. And then the last parts here are the game balance. Increase the language learning scheme bonus from the journey perk. That's good because that whole tree is semi-focused on language learning, and that's just going to make it that little bit easier. The next one is interface. Restricted the regency tutorial to basic regencies, and then a modding change at the end there, which I don't even understand what it means. Someone can let me know in the comments down below. And with that, that is the end of the changes for the patch today. Let me know how it goes for you. I think there's some good changes here. I think there's some that I'm not 100% on board with. Let me know in the comments which way you go on that. I'm not too mad, like I say, about the micro activities unlocking earlier. It's just a little bit weird at this point. Why not just give them to us when we pick which tree we want to go down? And with that, as always, hit that like button if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new here. I'm going to have a video out later this week about what I think is coming in Chapter 4 of Crusader Kings. If you're a member of the channel, you'll get that a couple of days early as well. But with that, I'll leave it there for today, and I'll see you in the next one.